What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room. I am your host, Mistress Carrie. Welcome to the War Room for the 293rd time. For anybody that does not know who I am, my name is Mistress Carrie. Thank you for checking out my social media pages, whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, or on my YouTube channel right now. I'm a radio host, a podcast host, and also host of this weekly live video show that we stream, that we started doing back in March of 2020, March 14th. And now, after doing 80 shows in a row through the height of the pandemic, we turned Cocktails in the War Room into a weekly show, and we talk about music, and we talk about what's going on in the world. We talk about sports, unless you're a Yankees fan, and then we just don't want to fucking hear it. We also are like our own little support system, and it's also a pug play date most of the time in here. So if you are new to the War Room, welcome, whether you're watching on Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, or YouTube. If you're commenting, Dina, Christine, Carol, Rachel's watching on Facebook, Dina's watching on YouTube. If you're commenting and you're new to the War Room, first of all, thank you for joining us. Second of all, let us know that this is your first time, and let us know where you're watching from so that the War Room family, as they have dubbed themselves, can welcome you properly. And if you are new to the War Room, you may not realize that the show also features a live pug cam. Now, hey, don't chew on that pillow. Come over here so you can say, I set up a camera for you. Come over here. Oh, my goodness. So for OG War Room family members, you will recognize my black pug, Wednesday, who has her own Instagram at Wednesday the Goth Pug. But what you might not know is that a couple of weeks ago, we added an addition to the family, Friday, who is going to be 5 months old on the 8th. And she is a terror, and she is insane. And she is now joining us on the couch here in the War Room as well. Right, Wednesday? She driving you crazy? I know, and I'm sorry. She's very small, and she's kind of a pain in the ass, but we love her anyway. I wanted to show you guys the giant candy corn that my sister bought the dogs, and Friday loves it, as you can see. There's a lot of playing tug of war with it. There's a lot of bumping. Wednesday gets very upset sometimes because there's bumping her out of the way. I know. You're the elder statesman. This is your show, Wednesday, and she is just being a total pain in the ass. And I understand that. Did you guys see Friday just almost fell off the couch just then? So there's a lot going on in the War Room at all times. And what we normally do, oh God, the puppy. Okay, can we keep this up on the couch here? Yes, Wednesday, I know. I will give you cookies if you'll just behave. Oh God, the wheels are falling off the wagon already. Keith is here. Ghost Riders watching on YouTube. Alicia's joining us on Facebook. Jonathan's on Facebook. Cute Puppers. Watching live from Salem, Mass, says Charmed Healer. That is fantastic. I'm sure you guys haven't been crazy busy at all with the beautiful weather we've been having in Massachusetts and Halloween just a week away. Hello, Monique. Monique joining us on Facebook. She said, adorable. I know they love you also. Monique and I went to high school together. We're not going to talk about how long ago we graduated. Are we, Monique? No, we are not. So everyone here likes candy corn. Keith, no. No. Candy corn is the devil's work. I don't know who. Mike Shue eats candy corn. This is something he and I have fought over for like 25 years of our professional working relationship. I think it's one of the most disgusting substances on the planet. I don't know who is eating all the candy corn because they make millions of pounds of it a year, but it is terrible. Friday the intern, Donna says, yeah, exactly. She is nonstop. To give you guys a little Friday update, she is 11 pounds. She went to the vet last Thursday. Wednesday has lost 0.3 of a pound since I got Friday because of all of the extra exercise. Because Wednesday had gone to the vet just a couple weeks before I got Friday, and, weighed her because she loves to get on the scale because all the girls at the veterinary office make such a big deal out of the fact that Wednesday gets right up on the scale by herself and sits down and is all proud. And Louise says, I like candy corn. Louise, it will steal your soul, Louise. And so I brought Wednesday to the vet appointment with Friday because I didn't want to leave her home alone. And so I brought her with me. And of course, Wednesday wanted to get up on the scale again. And so we weighed Friday, 11 pounds on the nose. And then we weighed Wednesday. She was 17.1 pounds when I had taken her to the vet a couple weeks before. And now she is 16.8 pounds. So Wednesday is definitely on the we have a puppy in the house diet. So yeah, I know. Friday, do you want to show everybody how you sit down? Do you want a cookie? Sit down. Hey, sit. No, sit down nicely. Good girls. Oh, I know. You're a little piranha. Good girl. Marcy says my ex loves it. Talking about candy corn. Marcy, I'm assuming that's why they are your ex, because how can you be in a serious relationship with someone that likes candy corn? I don't know how to do that. Those creamy marshmallow birds. Jonathan, are you talking about Peeps? Peeps and candy corn are not the same thing. Candy corn is basically eating little candle nuggets. Like you could melt those down and put them in with a wick in a glass and you could burn them during a hurricane. Like it's not candy. It's a candle. You're eating little candles, pieces that look like this. So when my sister came out to meet Friday and welcome her into the family, she brought this giant piece of candy corn. And as you can see, Friday is absolutely obsessed with it. So I know Wednesday has to share the treats now, which she is not happy about either. Here you go. There you go. I know. Let's see. Jonathan says, I'd be satisfied with a little caramel-filled candy bar. Jonathan, right there with you. Absolutely. Heidi says, hey, Mistress Carrie, Wednesday and Friday, War Room fam, happy Tuesday. Peeps are heavenly pillows, says Louise. Circus peanuts are so much worse. Deborah, I could not agree more. There are certain things that I just do not understand why they exist. Circus peanuts and candy corn are literally on the top of the list of things that are just too disgusting to enjoy. I don't understand it. Mike Shue and I have gotten into these arguments and conversations and discussions on and off the air for decades. He is a lover of candy corn. Somebody sent me purple and black candy corn. It was like blackberry flavored candy corn. And I tried it for scientific purposes, and it actually wasn't as bad as the regular candy corn, but it still wasn't good. Michael Cole says boobs are heavenly pillows. Peeps, not so much. I can't argue with that. Let's see. Former Iron Maiden lead singer Paul Di'Anno passed away at the age of 66. So, Jessica, that was one of the things I wanted to talk about, because I think a lot of people that discovered Iron Maiden later in Maiden's career don't realize that the first two albums, including obviously the self-titled debut and Killers, that is not Bruce Dickinson singing, that's Paul Di'Anno. And you'll remember earlier this year, they were in Serbia. Paul Di'Anno and Bruce Dickinson had never met in all of the years. And they just happened to both be on solo tours in Serbia at the same time earlier this year. And so they had a chance to meet and talk for a while. They took pictures together. But Paul Di'Anno has been in a wheelchair for quite some time now and has been dealing with a lot of health issues. And so the family announced yesterday that he passed away at the age of 66. And one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about it was because of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony that happened over the weekend, because they seem to try and sync up Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductions with specific things in careers. And Iron Maiden is celebrating their 50th anniversary next year. And normally the criteria for what band members get inducted with the band, because if you're like the 8th bass player in a band, you're not getting inducted. Like Richie Faulkner did not get inducted with Judas Priest. The Rock Hall is very specific about inducting the band members that were active in the band at the height of the band's career, is kind of like the criteria that they use. And so it's a very controversial thing because, like Richie Faulkner, who's been a member of Judas Priest for a long time, the band is still touring, all of that. A lot of band members get really, really mad that there are certain members that have been with the band a really long time, but maybe weren't there during the height of the band. And those members don't get inducted. And it was always my assumption that when Iron Maiden got inducted, that because Paul Di'Anno sang on the first 2 albums, that he would get inducted alongside Bruce Dickinson. That was always my assumption because according to Geezer Butler, Iron Maiden is responsible for bringing back British heavy metal in the late 70s. That was what Geezer Butler from Black Sabbath tweeted out when the news broke that Paul Di'Anno had passed away. And so I had always assumed that, like Van Halen, like AC/DC, that when Iron Maiden got inducted, that they would induct both singers. And now, obviously, Paul Di'Anno, like all of the members of MC5, this past weekend, is not going to be able to be there to be recognized properly as a member of Iron Maiden. My hope would be that all of the members of Iron Maiden would insist that Paul Di'Anno be inducted alongside Bruce Dickinson. I would assume so, just because, especially Killers is such a huge album. But there has been a push when it comes to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that they hurry up and induct some of these older bands before all of the band members are gone. Earlier this year, 2 original members of MC5 were alive. They worked on this new album, Heavy Lifting, that just came out last Friday. And then before their first album in 53 years could come out, that they worked on, and before they could get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the last 2 remaining original members of MC5 died. And so when Tom Morello gave his amazing speech about MC5 on Saturday night, there was nobody to give a speech on behalf of the band because they have all passed away. And so that was the first thing that I thought of when news broke yesterday that Paul Di'Anno had passed away. Because Iron Maiden turns 50 next year and they're doing a big 50th anniversary tour, my assumption was that when the nominations come out in like March, I believe is when they come out for the class of 2025, that Iron Maiden would once again get nominated, and next year would be the year that Maiden gets in because it's their 50th anniversary. And unlike a lot of other bands, they're still selling out arenas and stadiums 50 years later. There's no discussion as to whether or not Iron Maiden deserves to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But it just is really bumming me out that Paul Di'Anno is now not going to be able to be there to represent himself. Obviously, his family will be there, but that was the first thing I thought of yesterday. The online tributes from the band, Steve Harris, Anthrax put up a really nice tribute. Like I said, Geezer Butler, like there were so many, the guys in Volbeat put up a really amazing tribute. So, it's definitely something that, was felt across the metal world yesterday, when he passed away. Louise says that poor candy corn toy will not last long with Friday. Louise, she has been playing with that thing for almost a week like that. She falls asleep on it. Michael Cole says, great induction, killer lineup. You guys are saying sorry for your loss. So I'm trying to catch up. I am also going to see Iron Maiden at the DCU on November 6th. Cannot wait for that. Let's see. Did you see everything that's going on with Liam Payne from One Direction and the pink cocaine? So another crazy story, and actually Chris Cornell's daughter, Tony, came out and talked about the coverage of Liam Payne. If you didn't know, he was a member of One Direction. They've sold more than like 70 million albums, a British boy band. And he fell off of the 3rd floor balcony of his hotel in Argentina and died. And not only did TMZ post photos of his hotel room, but also photos of like his body covered in a sheet outside the hotel. And Tony Cornell actually talked about what it was like to see the hotel room photos that TMZ put up when Chris Cornell died in 2017. And she was talking about how she still has not recovered from just going on the internet and seeing those photos. And so she was very critical of TMZ for posting the Liam Payne. Now they're doing all of these investigations into all of the drug paraphernalia that he found in his room. And pink cocaine, which is this new kind of, I guess, designer drug. It's a mixture of drugs that has been trending on Twitter because for a lot of people, they had never heard of it before. And supposedly he was on that in his hotel room. There are also rumors that he was with prostitutes. Like there's all kinds of crazy stuff coming out right now. So it's all really, really sad. So let's continue to talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, actually, because the induction ceremony happened on Saturday night and there was a bunch of stuff to talk about. Joel Hoekstra from Whitesnake and the Trans-Siberian Orchestra was playing guitar for Cher. Zendaya actually inducted Cher in a Bob Mackie gown that she looked like young Cher. It was crazy. Dua Lipa did an onstage duet with Cher. Cher had famously said she didn't want to be part of the Rock Hall. And then when she got in, she actually joked about it. And she was like, fuck them. Like, they want to put me in. It's about fucking time. I deserve to be in a long time ago. Let's see. Jason says, what kind of toys does Miss Friday like? Jason? Yes. All of them. She loves all of Wednesday's toys. She has so far only killed one. And by the way, Friday is passed out. That burst of energy you guys saw with the candy corn, she's passed out now. She plays with everything. And because you guys have been so sweet with Wednesday over the years, there are literally baskets of toys and Friday just dives in the baskets. And every night before I go to bed, I go around and pick up all of the toys and put them back in the baskets. And the next morning, there are toys all over the floor again. So Joel Hoekstra was playing guitar for Cher, which was amazing. Tom Morello did a great induction speech for MC5. Sammy Hagar inducted Peter Frampton. Peter Frampton performed alongside Keith Urban. Peter Frampton has got this muscle disease that kept him seated during his performance, but he was great. Roger Daltrey Roger Daltrey inducted Peter Frampton. Sammy Hagar inducted Foreigner. Roger Daltrey was really funny during his induction speech because at one point he forgot what decade he was talking about. And I think the crowd was like, oh my God, the old man's losing it. And then he caught on that he had lost it and made a joke about it. And so that was really funny. Sammy Hagar inducted Foreigner and performed alongside Slash, Kelly Clarkson, Demi Lovato, and Chad Smith from the Red Hot Chili Peppers in tribute to Foreigner's catalog. And obviously the Ozzy tribute was huge. Ozzy ended up singing background vocals when Billy Idol was singing, but Ozzy did not perform, which was really sad. What I thought was really funny is that the guys from A Tribe Called Quest, they had to have talked for like 35 minutes. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, I watched the whole thing live on Saturday night. It was 5.5 hours long. It was insanely long. And obviously, there were a lot of great tributes, the in memoriam section. There were technical awards given for producers and all of that stuff. But by the time Ozzy, who was the second to the last to get inducted, he was like, I'm not going to give some long effing, I forget how he worded it, but acknowledging that he didn't want to talk for a long time and the crowd loved it. Jack Black inducted Ozzy. I thought his speech was great. The performances were great. I will tell you, though, I always feel bad for the sound guy because it's really hard to make those shows sound good. There's just too many guitars, too many microphones, too many moving parts. There were all kinds of sound problems with the microphone on the pedestal, on the podium. So they had to keep coming out and giving handheld microphones to the inductees and the inductors. And it was a little bit of a mess. Hi, Auntie Joan. But I thought the show overall was really good. The Dave Matthews Band was inducted by Julia Roberts, who I had no idea was such a diehard Dave Matthews Band fan. And I was actually happy. At first, I was really surprised that Ozzy wasn't last because the All-Star tribute was so huge. But once the Dave Matthews Band went up and performed at the show, because they're still such a huge touring band and the band is so phenomenal, it wouldn't have been right if anybody went up after them. I thought their performance was really, really good. Mary J. Blige, obviously, A Tribe Called Quest. The Class was really strong. I think when they rebroadcast it, I think you can still stream it on Disney Plus. They've probably tightened it up a little bit. There is going to be an ABC kind of best of special on New Year's Day of the Rock Hall induction. So they're going to have to find a way to like boil it all down to a couple of hours. But I thought the show overall was good. The induction speeches were good. It just made me really sad for the artists, especially MC5. None of them could be there because they all are dead. And it was like, come on, man. Like, you couldn't get those guys into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame before. Tom Morello's speech was great because he was talking about how those guys were out doing their thing in Detroit before the Clash, before the Ramones, and really talking about how MC5 are kind of responsible for the birth of the punk movement. And also just, you know, the political ties to the MC5, talking about the Democratic National Convention in 1968, because it was in the middle of the Vietnam War and it was so violent that all of the other performers backed out. And MC5 said, fuck you, and showed up and played for 8 hours straight because of the Vietnam War in protest to that. And so I thought his induction speech was really, really good and informative. And so if you haven't had a chance to watch it yet, I'll just warn you, like, it's long. It is definitely long. Kool and the Gang. Oh my God. So we got to talk about Kool and the Gang. So Kool and the Gang got inducted. A Tribe Called Quest got inducted by Dave Chappelle. Kool and the Gang was one of those artists that when you saw them as a nominee, you were like, yeah, okay, yeah, Kool and the Gang. And then they did the video montage. I don't think, do you ever go to a show and you're like, oh shit, I forgot that they did this song too. Oh shit, I forgot that they did this thing, this video just kept playing. And I was like, I knew all of the songs, but it was almost like I forgot how many hits Kool and the Gang had and how many different decades. Although Cher did say in her induction speech that she's the only artist to ever have a number one song in 7 straight decades, which when she said that, everyone was like doing math. But because of Sonny and Cher all the way up through her solo career, that is an insane statistic. But Kool and the Gang, the hits. And they obviously played, their induction speech was long as well. But like, it was like, oh yeah, and that song. Oh yeah, and that song. Oh, I forgot about that song. It's just ridiculous. Underlying the fact that Kool and the Gang 100% deserve to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as well. It was just insane how many hits. It was just over and over and over. So to go back to Paul Di'Anno, I'm really hoping that A, Iron Maiden gets in next year, and B, that he is properly included in that induction, because it's really sad that he passed away yesterday. The producer, Brett says that the producer from Motown was great. Yeah, I mean, Miss Dionne Warwick was inducted as well. And it was really funny because Dionne Warwick, the quotes from Snoop Dogg, when hip hop really hit and Snoop was the biggest thing out there, Dionne Warwick, you want to talk, Snoop famously said once that Dionne Warwick out-gangstered the gangsters, because at the height of the West Coast hip hop rise, when it was all bitches, hoes, the N-word, all of that, Dionne Warwick called all those guys to her house. And to their credit, they showed up. And she lectured them, talk about gangster, about their language, their treatment of women, and told them all, you guys are going to have kids, especially daughters. And what are they going to say about the music that you're making when they grow up and hear what you're doing right now. Snoop Dogg actually credits Dionne Warwick and that sit down with it shifting his mindset about his career, his role in entertainment. And so at one point, the guys in A Tribe Called Quest were going to drop the N-word. And before they said it out loud during their induction speech, they apologized to Dionne Warwick, who was sitting in the front row. And I thought, like, I mean, I was like, wow, like, you don't fuck with Dionne Warwick. Like, you got to watch the induction speech. It was pretty unbelievable. Wolfgang Van Halen playing Crazy Train was amazing. Yeah, watching Maynard James Keenan sing Ozzy with Wolfgang Van Halen playing guitar. Wolfgang was doing the harmonies because he can sing really high. Maynard James Keenan said he was terrified because Ozzy's voice is higher than Maynard's, and he was really worried about doing a bad job because he was like, this is in tribute to Ozzy. Zach was amazing. Yeah, the whole Ozzy tribute, and P.S. Ozzy's Throne. So badass. I'm sorry, Dave Grohl. Your throne was cool. It's not Ozzy's throne. Ozzy's throne is way better. I want a small version of that. I want a couple of them to be at the ends of my dining room table. Leather throne with skulls and a vampire bat. I mean, if you haven't seen it, just Google Ozzy's Throne from the Rock Hall induction. It was so freaking badass. Louise Knickerbocker. Yes, thank you. Talking about the induction, the producer from Motown. Jelly Roll made me cry bad, said Eric. Yeah, so I was wondering what Ozzy song Jelly Roll was going to sing, and he did Mama, I'm Coming Home, which a lot of people don't realize that song, and Jack Black, I was grateful, pointed it out during his induction speech, that Mama, I'm Coming Home was the highest charting Ozzy song ever, which I always thought Close My Eyes Forever with Lita Ford was like his highest charting song, but it wasn't. And a lot of people don't know that Mama, I'm Coming Home was co-written by Lemmy from Motorhead. And when you think about a song like Mama, I'm Coming Home, you don't think about Ozzy and Lemmy writing a song like that. And so when they started playing that song and Jelly Roll started singing it, A, you could tell he was nervous. And B, I was like, this is the perfect song for him to sing. So yeah, I thought Jelly Roll did a great job. Congratulations to Jelly Roll, by the way. Longtime friend of the show, got his first #1 album with Beautifully Broken. It was announced on Monday, debuted at #1 on the Billboard Top 200. So cheers to Jelly Roll. And, you know, I told you guys when I had him on the podcast the first time that what was that, 2.5 years ago, that was an artist that you guys needed to watch. And he donated close to $1 million in pre-sales of the physical copies of the album on vinyl and CD to charities that are helping people with mental health issues and addiction issues, which I just thought was a totally classy move. So congratulations to Jelly Roll on debuting at #1 for the first time on the album chart for Beautifully Broken. I knew he was going to debut at #1. But I know that he really wanted to debut at #1, so it was great that he set that goal for himself and he achieved it. Louise says, Carrie, be careful what you wish for. About the Ozzy thrones? Yeah, there's no way I'm getting Ozzy thrones. But look, if whoever made Ozzy's throne, Ozzy needs to license those thrones and they need to sell them because they're fucking badass. It was so cool. Let's see. I'm trying to catch up with all of the comments. Jonathan said, remember Sissy Houston? So she was part of the In Memoriam section. Obviously part of the Dionne Warwick, Whitney Houston, you know, ridiculously talented gene pool that family shares. Let's see. Annette says all the respect for Jelly on that. Yeah. I mean, look, when you're up on stage with guys like Maynard and Billy Idol and Andrew Watt and Wolfgang Van Halen and Steve Stevens and Robert Trujillo and Chad Smith, Jelly Roll was the guy that was the odd man out. He's the only guy that didn't know Ozzy. Ozzy actually remarked that he was honored that Jelly Roll wanted to be part of his tribute because they had never met. And so for Jelly Roll to go out there surrounded by these rock royalty rock gods and to go out there and tackle Ozzy's biggest hit, yeah, I thought he was great. Let's see. Eric says, can you imagine an IKEA Ozzy throne? Yeah, you would need a freaking Allen wrench to screw on all the skulls individually. It would come in like 65 pieces, but I would still put it together. Let's see. Heard Jelly on XM the other day. Love his work, Jonathan says. Yeah, he's everything that you would expect him to be. Jelly Roll also came out on Sunday and said, and I'm wondering if it was critiques of his performance at the Rock Hall induction the day before, but Jelly Roll came out on Sunday and said that he was getting off of Twitter because it was the worst social media platform and it was nothing but just vitriol and negativity, and that he wanted nothing to do with it anymore. And he had gotten off of it before because he was being bullied about his weight, which is so ridiculous. And he's gotten off of Twitter again, just saying that there's just nothing good that happens on Twitter and that he doesn't want anything to do with it. And I was wondering if it had something to do with him performing on the Rock Hall or not, or if it had just gotten to the point where he was just like, I don't want to fucking deal with it anymore. Jelly Roll also announced, one final thing about Jelly Roll before we move on with the show, that he lost 100 pounds already on this tour because he's traveling with a trainer and a chef, and he has been so dedicated to his physical health that he has been exercising, and he is on a meal plan, and he's doing it the way that you should be trying to lose weight the way that he is. And so for somebody to lose 100 pounds and to do it so publicly, to be putting up videos every day with his chef, with his trainer, videos of him playing basketball, running the stairs in the arenas he's playing at, and doing it all during the day before a show where he goes out and plays for 2.5 hours. It's just inspiring. And he's leading by example. And, obviously, he's got the money to have a personal chef and a trainer and all of that. But just because you have the means doesn't mean that that's going to make you do the work. He's doing the work, which is amazing. Shane said a lot of the comments were not nice, to put it lightly, about Jelly Roll at the Rock Hall. Yeah, and it doesn't, I would hope that it wasn't from metal fans. I know that there were some sound issues. You could tell when Jelly Roll walked off stage because he was pulling the in-ear monitors out. So I don't know if he couldn't hear on stage. I thought he did a good job, but you could tell he was nervous. But to attack him on social media when he was just there to pay tribute to somebody that obviously deserves to be paid tribute to, meaning Ozzy, I just don't understand it. I really don't understand it. Voorhees says, running arena stairs, that is hardcore. Just remember, you don't run down the stairs, you walk back down. So that's what Jelly Roll does in the arenas on this tour. He did it at the Garden, is that he goes up, he runs the stairs, and then he plays basketball, and he's cold plunging, and then he's got a chef out there with him that shows all of the different meals and how he pulls fat out of the meals and adds protein into the meals. And, they're always playing pranks on the chef and putting him in a hot sauna or making him get in the cold plunge. And, but yeah, I mean, Jelly Roll is just, you guys have heard him on the show a few times. Like, I just love the guy. I'm hoping I can get him back on the show, but every time I turn around, he's more famous than he was the day before. So it's just harder and harder to get him. But, Bish says, Carrie, I wish you could reach out to him for me so that I could tell him how I lost my 200. Dude, listen, it is so hard. He has changed his cell phone number, I want to say 6 or 7 times since I met him, because he has to, and I talked to the Shinedown guys and they're like, oh yeah, like They, because they're all friends with him too. And they're just like, just getting him on the phone. Like he's just so busy all the time, and not with like ridiculous busy work. I mean, with life-changing career opportunities, busy work, being on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or the Grand Ole Opry, it's just insane the opportunities that he has right now, and all rightfully so. He just released a massive deluxe edition of his album this past Friday that's got Halsey and all of these other, it had like 6 or 7 more new songs on it, 27 songs in total. Yeah, he's just crazy. I want you guys to see this, but she's full blown unconscious. So hold on. Come here. Oh, I know. Do you want to just go to sleep on Mommy's shoulder? I know. You're so sleepy. You're such a sleepy dog. I know. Oh, you're so sleepy. It's so hard being so cute. I know. Are you going to fall asleep like that? The other night we were snuggling on the couch and she laid across my throat and then just started snoring. It was like I had a furry turtleneck on that weighed 11 pounds. Oh, she's such a good girl. Here, come lay over here so you can lay down and be cute and I can turn the camera on. Here, lay down. Good girl. Good girl. Now we can turn your camera on that way. See, Friday? Now everybody can see you when you sleep because you're so cute. There you go. Want to lay with your candy corn? Put your head down on it. Yeah, there you go. Good girl. Michelle says, hey, MC, I'm in the ER still. Oh, my God. Are you serious? Barbara says, does Wednesday love Friday? They get along amazing, but they're siblings, right? So they definitely fight. Friday gets on her nerves. Wednesday puts her in her place. But Wednesday has been an unbelievable older sister, kind of showing her the ropes. It's been really, really cute. And Wednesday is loving all of the extra playing that, like, dogs will play with you, but when you bring another dog around, dogs just play different. And Wednesday hasn't been able to play like that for a while. And so having a play partner has just been really cute. So let me see. Michelle says, I have been here since 7 last night. How are you still in the emergency room 24 hours later? I just do not understand. Does Wednesday and Friday have Halloween costumes yet? So Wednesday has a Beetlejuice costume. Wait till I get the pictures. And actually, Friday has this really cute black and white striped sweater with a skull and crossbones on it that kind of matches the Beetlejuice costume. And I've got some other cute little costumes that I've kind of squirreled away over the years that some of my other dogs were too big for. So I am going to start digging. I have a whole Rubbermaid tub filled with dog clothes. Mike Shue just had an aneurysm and got a bloody nose thinking about all of the dog clothes that I have because he thinks it's ridiculous that dogs shouldn't wear clothes. I have a lot of pug clothes. So yes, there is some cuteness overload coming on Instagram for sure. Jessica wants to know if Sully's texted me yet. Jessica, you ask me that every week. I haven't talked to him this week. I talked to him a couple weeks ago when I interviewed Corey Marks because they do a song together. But the last Godsmack show of the year is at Mohegan on Saturday night. So, all right, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about on the show tonight. I want to remind you guys, you're running out of time. Foliage is near peak in Massachusetts. And if you want to do some hardcore leaf peeping at 120 miles an hour from 2.5 miles above the Earth's surface, you can take advantage of this Mistress Carrie deal and book a tandem skydive at Jumptown Skydiving in Orange, Massachusetts. Just go to jumptown.com, schedule a tandem. The weather looks great for the rest of the week. Use the code Mistress Carrie and you'll get $40 off your tandem. Where are you going Friday? What are you guys doing? Friday just went over there because Wednesday's laying over there. Wednesday, come over here. Come here. Come on, come over here. Want this? Come over here. Come here and sit down. Come here and sit down. There you go. Good girl. Everybody wants to know if you're doing okay because of the puppy. You're doing fine, aren't you? You're doing fine. Come on, Freddie, you want some cookie? Come over here. Come on, come over here. Okay, sit down. Sit. Good girls. That's your sister's cookie. There you go. Good girls. Okay, all the cookies are all gone now. All the cookies are all gone. You both did a very good job. Michelle says, waiting on my insurance to authorize for me to go to Westview for a rehab. Oh, my God. Dealing with insurance companies when it comes to hospital stuff is just such a giant pain in the arsehole. Yeah, that's just ridiculous. All right, I want to remind you guys about some of the stations that you can hear me on every day. You can hear me on Charleston's Best Rock, 98 Rock in Charleston, South Carolina. They made a big announcement today. Hailstorms Lizzie and Joe are doing living room sessions. They're only doing 12 shows. And they're doing one in Charleston, South Carolina, and 98 Rock is presenting the show. So we're going to have tickets, meet and greet, all of that stuff. So make sure you're listening to 98 Rock. You can go to my98rock.com, stream the station from anywhere, download the 98 Rock app. You can also listen to me on 100 FM The Pike here in Massachusetts. You can go to pikefm.com, stream the station, download the free Pike app. This is every weekday from 3 to 7. And you can also hear me every weekday from 3 to 7 on 106.3 The Bone in Portland, Maine. And Portland, I am going to be in Portland on December 11th hosting Deck the Halls with Daughtry, the holiday show at the State Theater with Sleep Theory and Devour the Day. And of course, Daughtry plugged in. So if you don't have your tickets yet, this is the only New England stop of this Daughtry tour. So if you live in southern New England and you want to drive north to go and see Daughtry, Sleep Theory, and Devour the Day, get your tickets. Deck the Halls with Daughtry, December 11th in Portland. Super excited about this, guys. And so far, the reaction on it has been huge. Hold on, I got to fix this. So the reviews of Rotten Apple after my birthday bash at Rascals were so good. And I sat down with the guys from Rotten Apple and we were talking about what else we could do together. And one of the things that we were talking about is how amazing the Alice in Chains Unplugged album is, number one. And number two, a lot of people are always like, I can't stay out that late, or I have to work early the next morning, and you have these events. The War Room is on late. So we tried to figure out a way to put an event together for people that maybe work different shifts or can't get time off during the week. And so we decided, you know what, brunch is like the best thing ever. So we're doing the first Mistress Carrie's Grunge Brunch. It's happening at City Winery, Boston. It is going to be on November 16th. It's a Saturday. Doors open at 11 a.m. Music starts at noon. It's a winery, obviously, so there's tons of wine. There's going to be brunch cocktails. They've got this amazing menu that you can go online to citywineryboston.com and check it out. But charcuterie. As soon as I saw all the different charcuteries, I was like, yes, that is what I want for brunch. I want daytime drinking, charcuterie, and acoustic Alice in Chains. So this is going to be something that once these tickets are gone, they are gone until the next time. So if you want to go, you have got to get your tickets in advance because by November 16th, this is going to be completely sold out. The response that I've gotten from this event privately, people messaging me going, what a great idea. What a great excuse to get friends together. We'll be out in the city, in the middle of the afternoon. I still have the rest of my day to myself. It's before the holidays. Like, the reaction's been great, but the tickets are selling fast. So if you want to get tickets to this, make sure you order them sooner than later because they are going to sell out before the show. But it's going to be a blast. And I have not heard them perform acoustic yet. I've seen Rotten Apple a few times plugged in, but I can only imagine how good. They're already rehearsing the set. It's going to be awesome. So the Mistress Carrie Grunge Brunch at City Winery, Boston. Doors open at 11 on Saturday, November 16th. Rotten Apple Charcuterie Day Drinking. Get the link on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. Marcy says Mom is probably doing the same. She is. So last week before the War Room, it was Mom's birthday. Later on in the week last week, I had her care meeting to sit down with all of her caretakers, kind of go over her, progress, or it's just a progress report on everything. And one of the things that we did was refresh her wardrobe for fall and the holidays. And so I went through her closet and redid her whole wardrobe. And so Mom is doing okay, but obviously not getting any better. Ben wants to know the Plymouth, New Hampshire station. Ben, which station are you talking about? The Planet? Or are you talking about the other Bone? So part of the Westwood One network that I'm on the Planet in the Lakes region of New Hampshire, which is why I can't be on the other Bone, because they have radiuses of the stations. So that's why I'm not on the Bone in New Hampshire. I'm only on the Bone in Portland, Maine. What did you... In the Grunge Brunch, we ain't drinking mimosas. We can drink mimosas and Bellinis if we want. You can have Bloody Marys if you want. You can have wine if you want. Whatever. This is a no judgment zone. Annette says, forget the charcuterie. Just bring me the mimosas. Both. I'm telling you, I am such a lover of all things charcuterie that I can't wait for it. You guys are going to see me there, and I'm just going to be watching the band eating charcuterie, drinking. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. Jessica says Alzheimer's and dementia are awful. Yeah, it just sucks, but she's doing okay. And we're going to make the best of the holidays as we always do. So as always, thank you guys for, always asking about my mom. I really appreciate it. All right, let's talk about the podcast. Last week's episode 228, featured Corey Marks, who has got a new song called Make My Country Rock that features Travis Tritt, Mick Mars, Sully Erna from Godsmack. He is also going to be at the House of Blues in Boston and at the Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom on the Theory of a Dead Man Unplugged tour that also has Saint Asonia on it. Corey Marks is going to be playing solo acoustic. And if you don't know who Corey Marks is, he's got his sophomore album coming out in December. He is a little bit country. He's a lot rock and roll, from Canada. So we spent a lot of time talking about Canadian music. Shania Twain, Rush, Bryan Adams. We talked about all of them. But also hearing what it's been like to have a relationship with artists like Travis Tritt or Ivan Moody from Five Finger Death Punch, who was on his debut album, the relationship he has with Mick Mars and obviously Sully. So if you haven't listened to Corey Marks, episode 228 of the Mistress Carrie podcast yet, definitely check it out. Ben says the Planet. Yeah, you can hear me on the Planet in New Hampshire at all different times. It depends on what day you're listening. The shows that I do for Westwood One aren't as structured as the shows that I do on like the different stations. So, but yeah, I'm on the Planet up in New Hampshire for sure. Bish says the other Bone. That's what I call my third leg. Is that what we're calling it now, Bish? Yeah, I'm on the Bone in Portland, Maine, but not on the Bone in New Hampshire because of the radius of the Planet. So, it's a little bit of a juggling act with the stations that I'm on for Westwood One, because I obviously can't be on the radio working for two different companies at two different stations at the same time in the same city. Not allowed. I wish I could, but not allowed. Let's see. Jessica said the Bruce Springsteen tour diary on Hulu. If you're a Bruce Springsteen fan, even if you're not, the guy's a machine. I mean, he's 75 years old and still playing 3.5-hour shows. It's just insane. Still one of the most technically proficient live rock bands ever. Calling out songs that they have to have memorized. Like Bruce Springsteen definitely is not syncing up his live shows to lights the way that some bands do, so that he can just play whatever the hell he wants, whenever the hell he wants to play it. And his band has talked about how you better be ready to play whatever song he calls out. So, okay, I just got an alert that the computer is not plugged in, and I don't know why that is. So I am going to turn the pug cam on, and I am going to check the power plug of the computer because I don't know why it's saying that it's not plugged in. So watch the pugs. Hold on, watch the pugs. There we go. Plug was loose. I'm coming back, girls. Hold on. The most non-graceful return to the green couch in the war room ever, while the dogs are just staring at me, judging me. I know. I get it, girls. I get it. Did you guys see that Friday has her head on the candy corn? Hold on, let me turn the camera back on for a second. Look at her. I can't handle it. She's just so freaking cute all the time. It makes it really hard to be mad at her when she does something bad, which she does every now and again. All right, let's talk about this week's podcast episode 229. If you are a lover of metal, you know who Jeff Plate is, the drummer from Savatage. He's also the founding drummer of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And TSO is celebrating a lot this year. They're celebrating the 20th anniversary of the Lost Christmas Eve. They are also celebrating their 20 millionth ticket sold, and they donate proceeds from every ticket they sell to charity, and they are celebrating $20 million raised for charity as well, which is pretty unbelievable. So Jeff and I spent a lot of time talking about drums, talking about metal, talking about the early days of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Joel Hoekstra from Whitesnake, who is also part of TSO East, because there are two separate touring Trans-Siberian orchestras that go out simultaneously. There's East Coast and West Coast. Jeff Plate is part of East Coast, as is Joel Hoekstra. So we spent a lot of time talking about the early days of TSO. Jeff lived in Boston for 10 years, so we spent a lot of time talking about that, talking about the early days of him learning how to play the drums, obviously talking about the crew and the full-blown production of Trans-Siberian Orchestra. They have got 6 shows in the Northeast, 2 shows a day at the SNHU Arena in Manchester, New Hampshire, the DCU Center in Worcester, Mass., and at the Mohegan Sun Arena in Connecticut. And so if you have never seen the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, the production is unbelievable. The band is ridiculous. And it's something that literally you can take kids to, grandparents to. It's metal, but it's metal in a way that is just awe-inspiring. So if you've never seen TSO, you've got to see it. So I was super excited that Jeff agreed to come on the show. This time, it's such a fond memory of taking my mom to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra. My sister, the last year my mom was healthy enough, my sister and I, Annie Ange and Mom, went to see TSO. And Mom was already succumbing to her disease, but still was able to get dressed up and go to the show and loved it. And just watching how happy she was. I had gotten a block of tickets from my mom years back, and she was able to take all of her sisters, and the whole family went, and they got VIP passes, and they got to meet the band. And my mom always had the backstage pass and the ticket to TSO hanging up on the wall in her apartment. And so TSO just has a really sentimental place in my heart. My mom loved the music. She used to love it when I was on AAF and we would play TSO music around the holidays. And so we got her the albums, and she would start listening to them at Halloween because she just loved the music so much. And so just really excited to have Jeff on the show this week because TSO does have such a sentimental kind of spot in my cold, dead, black heart. Eric says, smoke a joint before going to TSO. It's great. The end of a TSO show is amazing. Bish says, I got mom TSO for her birthday last night. She's going to, Mark, if she hasn't seen it, she's going to absolutely love it. It is so good. Alexa says, love TSO, seen them 7 times. Yeah, they're so good. He actually told me in the interview that they have been accused of running tapes, which has been a huge source of argument. There's one thing about bands using sound effects and triggers, and drummers have like big keypads of sound effects that they trigger stuff, rather than bands that actually run tapes, Milli Vanilli style. And there are arguments made for both that, like obviously if you're using synthesizers and strings and stuff, and a band's not touring with all of that stuff, they're going to run those tracks. But Jeff actually told me that Trans-Siberian Orchestra has been accused of running tracks. And he flat out was like, never. It's never happened. It will never happen. We take pride on everything that we do on stage is live. It just sounds that good because that's how good we are, because we work really hard to be that good. So this episode 229, goes live at midnight tonight. If you're a TSO fan, you definitely want to check that out. If you're new to the podcast, you get the weekly episodes on Wednesdays. You also get the Sit Rep Monday through Friday. Rock news, music headlines, entertainment updates. It's around 5 minutes long. Sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 8, sometimes it's 9. It just depends on what's going on. But it uploads first thing in the morning so you can get caught up with everything that's going on in music and entertainment right when you start your day in the morning while you're having your coffee. And if you're wondering where you can check out the Mistress Carrie podcast, all of these places and more. Whatever app you use to listen to your podcast, just search the Mistress Carrie podcast. When you find that logo right there, you know you're in the right spot. You can listen to all of the full-length episodes and the sit reps on YouTube, audio only, or you can just go to mistresscarrie.com, pick the episode you want, and just hit play. For the people that are just not technically proficient, that have never listened to a podcast before, just hit play on whatever player on the website. Still holding strong at 149 episodes of the Mistress Carrie podcast around the world. So thank you to everybody that has shared the episodes, to everybody that has been so supportive for all 229 plus episodes. When you add up all the sit reps and all the bonus episodes and all of the after action reports that when we've had guests here in the War Room, and then I release the audio after the fact, it's like 1,100 and something pieces of audio that can be found on the podcast, which is just, when I think about it, it's crazy. Happy birthday. If today's your birthday, you share it with John Foreman from Switchfoot, with Shaggy, and also Leslie West from Mountain. So if today's your birthday, happy birthday. Happy unbirthday, Keith. Marcy says, someday I'll see TSO. I'm telling you, it's a great holiday gift. Normally it hits this region between Thanksgiving and Christmas. But getting the tickets as a gift, and like if you have one of those families that like it's near impossible to figure out what to buy people, my family has spent a lot of time over the years trying to focus on experiences rather than things. Because I think the older you get, you've got the things that you want. And if there's something that you want, you get it when you want it. Obviously, the holidays are always centered around children and making those, kind of amazing memories and dreams come true. But for me, I love getting experiences. Last year, somebody gave my husband and I a gift certificate to one of those rage rooms where you go in and break everything. I love it when we get gift certificates to restaurants, because sometimes it'll take months for us to use them. And then we'll go in like May and be like, oh, and we'll always text the people and be like, hey, we used your gift card that you got us for Christmas. Thank you so much. Concert tickets I always tell you guys about. So if you've got a family that is like near impossible to buy for, say, you know what, we're going to do something different this year. let's go to Trans-Siberian Orchestra together and like actually make family memories. Like to me, that means way more than like trying to buy a gift for somebody that you don't know what to get them. They don't need anything, because people have so much stuff that they don't use, and it's wasteful in a way. Like, it's not what the holiday is supposed to be about. So the idea that you can make memories by doing experiences together, I love that. So Donna says, happy 72nd to Bish's mom. Absolutely. 72. Badass. Carrie, can we toast to mom 72? Absolutely. That's how old my mom is too. So our moms are the same age. Rachel says, I give my dad movie tickets. Look, if somebody loves to go to the movies, I love to go to the movies. A lot of time I don't have time to do it. But if you love to go to the movies and you get someone a gift certificate so that they can go to the movies a bunch of times for free, cherry icy and a big bucket of popcorn, just saying. Those are the kinds of things that I love. So, getting the family together, getting your picture taken in a group outside at the DCU Center or wherever you end up going with the TSO banner. That's what we did. Taking pictures inside the arena. Like, those are memories, and obviously now that my mom is sick, I think back to those TSO shows that we went to together. And, I'm just so happy that we have the pictures and the memories and all of that, because she's just such a huge lover of music. So, Marcy says, prayers for me, please. Thursday, I'll be at St. Vincent's having my gallbladder out. So, Marcy, I had my gallbladder out in 2007. And if I can give you any advice, stay ahead of the pain with the medication. Set an alarm. Whoever is going to be taking care of you, make them wake you up to take the pain meds. Because I made that mistake of sleeping through and waking up and all of the pain meds had worn off the next day. And I was in I could not sit up. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't go to the bath. I could not move. And everybody in the house was downstairs and they thought I was sleeping, thought that I would call with my phone when I was awake if I needed anything. And I could not twist to get my phone off the nightstand. And I laid there crying because I could not move until someone came up to check on me. So if I can give you one piece of advice when it comes to your gallbladder surgery for the first couple days, take the prescribed pain medication exactly when they tell you to do it, set an alarm, and be religious about it. You do not, the first couple of days, want to feel the pain of that surgery, because I can tell you that I did it and it was brutal. So just be careful with your pain management. All right, so we already talked about a bunch of this stuff. We talked about the Rock Hall. We talked about Jelly Roll. The Celtics tonight raised banner 18, got their rings. Huge congratulations to the Celtics. I tried to find my black Celtics t-shirt, and the problem with having an all black wardrobe is that sometimes you go looking for things and you can't find them because literally my whole closet is all black. So I wanted to try and track down my Celtics t-shirt and I couldn't find it tonight. Marcy says, I will be alone till October. I will set alarms. Marcy, get somebody over to the house to help you. I'm not kidding. The first 24 hours, you're not going to be able to get out of bed and you're not going to be able to go to the bathroom by yourself. I'm not trying to be gross or weird. When they do laparoscopic surgery, like for gallbladder, they make all these little incisions and they put these little robot arms in you. And one of the things that they do is they inflate your stomach with air so that they can move the little robotic arms around to get rid of your gallbladder. Well, what that does is it stretches your ab muscles like a balloon. Like, you know, when you blow a balloon and it goes. So when they deflate you and you wake up from surgery, it feels like you've done 1,000,000 sit-ups. And it is incredibly painful. For me, The sutures didn't hurt. The incisions didn't hurt the way that the muscles did because the muscles all got stretched out from the surgery. So Bish says Celtics are up 132-109, kicking ass tonight. That is amazing. So Marcy, please do not be alone. You shouldn't be alone on pain medication after surgery anyway. Have a friend, a family member, somebody be there for you, especially late at night. If you need to get up and go to the bathroom, you're not going to be able to do it by yourself. I lived with my in-laws that whole week because my husband worked third shift and my mom was working and couldn't be around. And if I had been alone, I wouldn't have been able to function. I would have peed the bed. I couldn't have gotten up. And it was humiliating for me because I was engaged at the time. I wasn't even married the first time yet. And that was a real test for me mentally, was being helped in the bathroom by the person I was getting ready to get married to, because nobody wants that. But you need that help. So just try to find somebody that can be there with you, like to help you. It's really, really hard. So, Marcy says, my bathroom is next to me. You're not going to be able to get out of bed. I'm being like so truthful with you because it was so traumatic for me to wake up and not have the meds. Like, it was really hard for me to sit up and get up out of bed and to sit on the toilet. Like, you don't realize like how much all of that is your core muscles. And when your core is sore from that surgery, I know how humiliating it can be to ask for help, but I'm begging you, for the first day, at least, if not two, have somebody that is there with you, even if they're just in the house, like watching TV or like whatever, because it's not fun. So sleep in a recliner with lots of pillows. It helps, says Tracy. Yeah, that's good advice, as opposed to laying down in bed, because it'll be easier for you to get up in a recliner. Marcy says, thank you, I'll try. Yeah, that surgery, it took me about a week. I took the whole week off before I went back to work. And the first few days, those pain meds, man, I needed them. All right, so speaking of the Garden, now there's a new banner hanging from the rafters and a couple of big shows coming, including the Disturbed 25th Anniversary Tour with 3 Days Grace and Sevendust. Those tickets went on sale this past Friday. And also the Deftones. So 2 huge shows coming in the spring to the Garden. And next year is going to be a very, very busy touring year. The aforementioned Iron Maiden at the DCU Center coming up fast on November 6th. We have also got Marvelous 3 and Lit at Big Night Live on November 10th. Speaking of the Garden, the Xfinity Center has not started announcing shows for next year yet, but we know those are coming, and they're coming soon. A bunch of these shows, including Duran Duran on Friday night. This is the Dance Macabre Halloween show. Godsmack's the next night at the Mohegan Sun Arena with Flat Black and Nothing More. Kerry King at Royale on February 4th. This just got announced today. Hailstorm's Living Room Sessions. They're doing 12 shows. One is in Charleston, South Carolina. The other one is at MGM Springfield on January 24th. Those tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. It is just Joe and Lizzie from Hailstorm. It's acoustic, living room session, kind of a storyteller's kind of vibe, but they're only doing 12 shows, and we got one, and it's in Springfield. Dream Theater played their first show with Mike Portnoy in 14 years over the weekend. They are going to be at the Wang on March 15th. Reunited with Mike Portnoy, celebrating the band's 40th anniversary. Heart's going to be at Foxwoods on April 12th and at the Agganis Arena on April 13th. Those tickets are on sale now. Weird Al Yankovic's going to be at the Wang and at Foxwoods in July next year. And the only outdoor show that we know of so far for next year is Coldplay at Gillette on July 15th. We also found out today that Foreigner is going to play the Big E next September. They're literally announcing shows a year out. So Foreigner just extended their farewell tour through the end of next year, and they're going to be at the Big E next September. The Palladium set it off New Year's Day from ashes to new. This is happening on Sunday night. They have also got a show on October 30th up at Aura in Portland. Rise Against is at Roadrunner this week. All of these shows are on the event calendar at mistresscarrie.com. MGM Music Hall at Fenway, Trivium, Bullet for My Valentine on May 2nd. The Queens of the Stone Age postponed dates, rescheduled from September of this year to June of next year. And House of Blues. We were talking about the Theory of a Dead Man Unplugged show on the 12th. That's with Saint Asonia Unplugged and Corey Marks solo acoustic. Steel Panther is going to be at the House of Blues on November 23rd. Jerry Cantrell on February 4th. Those tickets went on sale Friday. Filter is opening up the I Want Blood tour. And then obviously I'll get all of the Dropkick Murphys dates up there. But they're going to be taking over Lansdowne Street in March of next year around St. Patrick's Day, both at the House of Blues and the MGM Music Hall at Fenway. Duff McKagan coming to the Paradise Rock Club November 4th, and Guar is going to be at the Paradise on November 5th. The Grunge Brunch at City Winery Boston with Rotten Apple. We talked about that already on November 16th. Get those tickets sooner than later if you want to go. The Stage at Suffolk Downs has not announced outdoor shows for next year yet, but I will let you know. These are all of the new releases coming out on Friday this week. Full Bloom from 311. There is new Atreyu, the Pronoia Sessions. There is And from Bastille. There's also the 40th anniversary celebration of Out of the Cellar from Rat with a previously unreleased song. There is the Motorhead Singles Collection. There's the Hymn Greatest Hits Collection. Green Day's American Idiot 20th Anniversary Edition. Whitesnake's the Solo Albums Collection. There's a bunch of stuff coming out this Friday. Let's see. No mail call this week. Sorry to the dogs who are both completely laid out and unconscious. And of course, as soon as I said that, hold on. I'm getting stared at by Wednesday. They're both snuggled with the giant candy corn. Yep. And there she goes, back unconscious again. Look at this. Look at these two. Are you kidding me right now? They go crazy and then they are unconscious. Michael Cole says, drink, 2 shows at Gillette, the 15th and 16th. Which ones are you talking about, Mr. Cole? That Coldplay extended their show? Yeah, I got to add that date. I will drink. It's a typo. I'm sorry. Jessica wants to know if Richard Patrick is still the lead singer of Filter. Filter is Richard Patrick. It is his band. So there is no Filter without Richard Patrick. So yes, 100%. Filter opened for Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie at the Xfinity last month. They were great. Yeah, did someone say mail call? Exactly. It is a pug life, Eric. I know. Trust me, I am very well aware. Look at them. They're just completely laid out. Okay. Mistress Carrie backstage pass holders. I am taking you guys with me. I'm traveling later this week. So I will give you guys updates on everything that I'm doing this weekend. I'm going to be out on the road. So expect travel blog updates. I've also got a bunch of podcast interviews that I'm waiting to get confirmed so that I can tell you guys who I've got lined up for the rest of the fall and through the holidays. So your travel blog update, we're going to have a live stream. It is going to happen sooner than later. I wanted to do it this past weekend, but I couldn't. And next weekend or this coming weekend, I'm going to be traveling. So I will let you guys know what's going on with that. Early access to event information, including the Grunge Brunch, exclusive concert ticket giveaways. I've got a bunch of tickets that I have submitted for. So I've got more ticket giveaways, merch discount codes when I get all of that stuff in. So if you don't have a Mistress Carrie backstage pass, you can get one on patreon.com or just click the Patreon link at mistresscarrie.com. And then all of the social media links to find me online, they are all linked at mistresscarrie.com. And then all of the radio stations that you can hear me on every day The Pike, 3 to 7 every weekday in Mass at pikefm.com. The Bone in Portland, Maine at 1063thebone.com. And 98 Rock in Charleston, South Carolina at my98rock.com. So, and then one final reminder about our group on Facebook with Veterans Day coming up next month, the Marine Corps birthday coming up next month. If you have not yet joined the Mistress Carrie Veterans Rock group on Facebook, this group is specifically for veterans and veterans causes, veteran-owned businesses, nonprofits, events. It's for civilians that want to get involved with all things veterans. This is not a place to talk about music. It's not a place to talk about politics. This is to help veterans launch veterans businesses, to bring attention to nonprofits that are helping the veterans community with events like motorcycle rides and food drives and just all of the amazing work that is happening to support our veterans communities when it comes to American Legions and VFWs and all of that stuff. So please, if you have got veterans in your life, share this group with them. It's up to almost 2,000 people that have joined the group, which is amazing. So please, please, please spread the word about this group because we're really starting to see an uptick in participation in events because they're getting posted in this group, and it's been a great place to share information. So I love the fact that so many people are using the group to help promote events and charities and businesses, especially around the holidays. You know, we always talk about wanting to make sure that we're spending our money wisely. Well, if there are veteran-owned businesses out there, veteran-owned stores, restaurants, all of that stuff, we want to hear about them in the Veterans Rock group because people want to make sure that they're spending their money wisely. And if they can support veteran-owned businesses around the holidays, they want to do that. So just make sure that that's the information that's getting put up there. And if you have not joined the Veterans Rock group on Facebook yet, please, please, please do that. All right, hold on. Let me give you one final look at the pug snuggling that's happening. What are you girls doing? Friday, are you sleeping? Let me rub your belly. Wednesday, what are you doing? Are you snuggling? Are you guys pug snuggling? Friday, you're completely unconscious. Shameless with your giant candy corn. Did somebody say field trip? Bish says, I'm 6'3". I don't fit in the overhead compartment. I'm taking you guys with me on my journey this weekend digitally. I'm not smuggling you in my luggage, smartass. All right, new episode of the podcast, episode 229, featuring Jeff Plate from the Trans-Siberian Orchestra and Savatage, comes out at midnight tonight. I'll be back in the War Room next Tuesday. I'll tell you all about my trip, but Backstage Pass holders, I'm taking you guys with me this weekend, and it's a pretty personal trip, actually, that I'm really looking forward to. I'm going with Mr. C, so yeah. A full update on my travels this weekend is coming up on the show next week. But if you don't have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, I'll fill you in. But if you do have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, I'm taking you with me. And no, I'm not smuggling you in the overhead compartment. All right. Good night, girls. Good night, guys. I'll see you guys next week.